Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, shout out to the 19 folks. I just wanted to cover a couple of quick things on Caitlin Clark's hour-long interview on the New Heights podcast with Jason Kelce, one of the greatest centers of all time, Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champ, just retired, and his brother, that Travis guy who plays somewhere out in the Midwest, Kansas City, I believe. But they had Caitlin Clark on, and this was really, really good. So let me say that first. If you do have the time, if you want to pop it on in the background when you're doing something else, well worth checking out. WNBA and WNBA sports media. You should watch this because it might really help you out. This is the type of interview you want all of your players doing. First of all, Caitlin is fantastic in this. She is likable, she's personable, she's a good conversationalist. She's sharing things that she might not have shared before. She's asking the guys questions as well. It is just an interesting conversation, and this is how you grow fandom. This is how you get more fans. You get more WNBA players doing things like this, and you can grow your league because people who tune into this podcast that maybe didn't follow Caitlin Clark, they might now check out her game because they're going to like what they see from this interview. And kudos, shout out to the Kelsey brothers, Jason and Travis, because they stayed away from all of the nonsense. And they didn't ask about toxic fandom. They didn't ask Caitlin Clark to praise Kennedy Carter after Kennedy assaulted her. They didn't ask her to praise Dejanay Carrington and let her off the hook for trying to blind her. No, they just stuck to interesting stuff that was had nothing to do with everything we saw the WNBA put Caitlin Clark through this entire season, which made it a joy to watch. So I mean, there's a lot of different things in here, but, and I'll probably mention a couple of them without playing them that were cool. But I mean, first of all, egregious. Caitlin Clark used the word egregious, one of my favorites. So I got to shout that out. Kudos, nice word usage. Plethora is another great one. So people might want to get that info to Caitlin Clark as well. When she was actually talking about the transfer portal, she said it was egregious at this point that you can. She's like, people are now transferred. They're playing at four different schools and staying in for 7 years, and I'm with them. They all thought it was absolutely ridiculous what the transfer portal has become. Absolutely agree with that. But I wanted to play a couple of non-basketball clips for you. So first of all, about golfing, but I think it also speaks to Caitlin Clark's mentality as an athlete. So it's insightful that way. So let's take a listen to them talking about her golfing experience with Annika Sorostam.
On
We learned.
Netflix or
We learned
whatever.
from last
Yeah,
year. Yeah, exactly.
You recently played in a pro-am with Annika Sorenstam.
I did.
You hit a person on a tee box. I don't know how you do that.
Okay.
Who would hit a
Okay.
person on a tee
Well,
box?
yeah, I know
okay,
I
so-
can relate. Jason, I don't know if you played in enough
So the
pro-ams
video
yet to
that-
hit anybody, but
The video that was going viral where I like completely topped it. So it's crazy. Like we're playing like these long par threes that are like 200 yards. I'm like, I'm not good enough to hit a par three like 200 yards. Like, so I whip out my
a tough
hybrid.
par
I'm like
three.
teeing up my hybrid club. Just top it like straight at a fan to the left.
Been there.
But I think
Been
they
there.
dodged
burner
it.
down the third base
I-
line.
But I nailed somebody on a different par three, like some woman, like right in the shoulder, like
Shoulder?
And I saw a TikTok like the next day, just like black welt on her
Oh,
arm.
yeah. Well, that's just how you hit her good if she's got a black welt. Are you more competitive in golf or basketball?
That's hard. I think like golf makes me more mad because I'm not as good at it. Like I'm just like the average hack, and like you want to be good, like you're competitive, just like basketball or football. Like it's like, why am I not good at this? So, and it's like it's an individual sport, and we're used to team sports. So I think that's what pisses me off too. It's like it's all on me, and I know it's all my fault. So
I share your pain. Are you more nervous on the free throw line or at the first tee?
First tee, not even close. I'm like shaking. I like can't put my ball on the tee. You're
So
like
true.
can't get it to stay on the tee. You're shaking so bad trying to put
So
the tee in
good.
the ground. I mean, like you're average at golf. At least you're confident in the actual sport you play. You know.
Touche. According to your teammates, you
That's going into the next thing, but like for me, listening to that, I think that's one of the things that makes Caitlin Clark so good of high level athletes that are competitive, and it's why so many of them play golf because they are so competitive, and it's such a challenge for them, something that's away from their sport that they're not going to go out and get injured, but they've got the time with the off season, and it's for I mean you don't master golf. Right. I mean, I think even pros will tell you that. It's a completely different challenge for them, and I think that's why it's so appealing. And when you have that type of drive, yeah, it's gonna make you mad for sure, no doubt about that. So I just thought that was a cool bit of insight into her mentality and how she approaches things. And one last thing I want to play because I thought this was kind of cool and might be a surprise to all of you. So let's dig into this.
basketball, what would Caitlin Clark be doing? You said you were a marketing major. Would you have gone more into that world, or you think you would have jumped into something else?
Oh man, that's tough. I think if my basketball career would have ended, I still would have loved sports just because it was like such a huge part of my childhood and like what I did.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe like try to work in like a front office of a sports organization or something like that. I think that would be cool. Not like the coaching side of it, but like the operations side and getting to do like free agency stuff. And I think that would be really cool.
Apparently, you have talked about opening a rib restaurant. Is this true?
Yeah.
Are
The
you
I want
into
to
the
rib
run.
crib?
ribs?
This was like such a random thing when I was growing up. I like told my mom, like, yeah, there was like this plot of land like by where we lived. And
Yeah.
I like had this weird obsession with like ribs. It was like what I asked my mom to bake me for my
Ain't
birthday.
nothing weird
every
about it.
year.
Let me tell you, there ain't nothing weird about that.
So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna open the rib crib, like have this barbecue joint. Like,
Heck
I don't
yeah.
know. We'll see.
I hear ya.
I've kind of phased out of like I love ribs still, but I've never made ribs for myself. But I'll just hire a chef. Maybe he can run the
Yeah,
restaurant.
you
Who
don't
knows?
gotta. You can just be
There you
the
go.
face.
All right, Jason's gonna get really deep in the weeds on this. He's definitely a rib guy. This got him going. But I just thought that was really cool. I had never heard that before. So that's one of her steps on her way to becoming the first female athlete billionaire. She's going to open up a rib restaurant. It's going to become two. Next thing you know, there's going to be a chain and a franchise, and she's going to put McDonald's out of business. And one thing, apologies if you heard this. I truly can't remember if I mentioned this in the video I did yesterday when you had that one little clip uh, that was sort of the teaser from this, but I thought it was awesome, and I don't want to waste your time digging to find it. It actually just popped into my head again, so that's why I didn't have it prepped up. But talked about her. It was, we did that video about college recruitment, right? And how she was getting recruited in seventh grade, and then I can't remember if it was in the clip or not, but Travis made a comment about for him, she talked about, dream schools when you were at that point, and Travis said Ohio State and Michigan. And Caitlin, for me, 100% pure, true fan. When she heard that, she says, "You can't like Michigan and Ohio State," and she's 100% correct. You cannot. And Travis like, "Well, I can," and she's like, "Well, neither Michigan or Ohio State fans are going to be happy with that. They're not going to be okay." 100% true. I remember my dad telling me when diehard Sixers fan, diehard Philly fan, right? Grew up, but he loved Larry Bird, and it always drove me nuts. And I said, you couldn't. At least, I mean, you could appreciate him after he retires, I guess, but not while he's playing. It's a Celtic. The Sixers, Celtics, oil, water, Michigan, Ohio State. It's a big, huge no-no. And by the way, that's a great lesson for all the WNBA, the old guard out there with all their nonsense spewing. Yes, you can be a fan of one player, you can be a fan of one team. And no, you don't have to like everyone, nor should you, because they're the competition. I mean, you can't like rivalry. You cannot. you cannot like Ohio State and Michigan. Caitlin Clark's 100% right on that. But I just wanted to play that brief clip for you and let you know it is worth a listen if you go to listen to the entire thing. And really, what I wanted to get out into this, which is why I wanted to do this one, because there's really nothing controversial in it. In the video, it's just a good listen. But the WNBA, please understand this is how, or I should say, this is one of the ways. Obviously, the product on the court, on the field, in any sport, that is number one. But other than that, this is how you grow a league, especially when you're where the WNBA is, right? Like this is something the NWSL should be doing. This is something that probably, if the NBA or the NFL was just starting up, the type of thing that they should be doing is get players like Caitlin out onto, podcasts, radio, TV shows, whatever it is, in this atmosphere, and let people discover them maybe for the first time or get to know them better without any controversy, not dipping into culture wars and politics and all the other stuff that the WNBA sports media could never seem to avoid anytime they talk to Caitlin Clark or about Caitlin Clark. This is how you do it. I'm just curious. This released this morning, and we've got yeah, look at that. Now, for those who don't know, when it first goes out, those numbers are usually delayed. It takes about a day to catch up to where the actual number is this number. So this wouldn't surprise me if it's like 250 or so thousand. I think I saw when they did it as a premiere. I think at one point there were like 14,000 people watching it during its premiere. So big numbers. Again, this is how you do it. And shout out once again to the Kelsey brothers for how they handled this, how they did it. It was a great conversation. Go listen to the whole thing if you want and have the time and get a chance. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for checking this out. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you are enjoying the content. It really does help out a lot. I know things slowed down at the end of the WNBA season, but we just ticked over 10,900. So we're in that final bit. The next number that'll show up will be that 11,000. So if you're one of those many viewers that's watching and haven't yet hit the subscribe button, go ahead. I promise it won't hurt. I do appreciate it. And I will talk to you later.